It's the I Can't Mom Today podcast with Heather, the new mom, and Vera, the seasoned mom. I Can't Mom Today.
Hey, this is Vera and Heather back again with another episode of I Can't Mom Today podcast. Hi, Vera. How are you?
I'm good, hanging in there. How about you, Heather?
Good. Well, remember last week when I was like, yeah, it's so exciting. My life is awesome.
I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah.
Regularly scheduled programming is back, and I feel like doo-doo.
Why?
I honestly don't know. Friday, I woke up to get Baker in the middle of the night because he got up, and I almost fell getting him. So I was so dizzy. And I don't know if it was like vertigo or I don't know. And then I had Baker this weekend because Brad had drill, so that didn't help like give me any relaxation. So I didn't get to, I was just exhausted from on Friday I had to work, so I was just exhausted all day. And then Saturday, and then yesterday I got a COVID shot, or Sunday I got a COVID shot, and I heard like side effects are like you're tired. Like last night I went to bed at 9, and but I don't know if it was like COVID or just I'm still tired from freaking Friday.
Yeah.
In the weekend. So it's like a chicken or egg situation where you're like,
Do you know if you got the Pfizer or the Moderna one?
Moderna.
Or Moderna, not Moderna. That's an IUD, isn't it?
So.
Different end. Okay, yeah.
They didn't ask me to open my legs, so I said no.
So which one was it?
Moderna.
That you got? The Moderna? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is highly unscientific and nobody quote me on this. The people I know who got the Pfizer ones had less side effects than the people who got the Moderna ones, in my experience. This is just my little small sample of friends who have gotten the vaccine so far.
Yeah. Well, I think I had to ask Brad's parents what they got, because they were all like, oh, it's fine. Like his mom had a bump in her arm, but other than that, they were both fine. And I have a history of like headaches, and so really, who knows what this could be caused from?
Yeah. It could just be like you said, regularly scheduled, Heather.
Yeah, exactly. So but whatever, it is what it is. I'll get through it. Or die, whatever. I mean, something's gonna happen.
Or keel over.
But yeah,
do you still have to carry Baker much, or is he like too big and kind of over that?
No, he doesn't really ask to be carried much unless it's like a situation that he's not used to. Like when we went to, so we had to get my COVID vaccine from the military base, and he was just like, carry me, hold me, mommy.
Yeah.
And so I did.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I can't. No, too big.
Okay. Well, that's what. Well, I was asking because you'd said something about feeling kind of dizzy or whatever, and I worry about you carrying him.
No. Oh God, I would never carry him if I felt dizzy. No, the dizziness went away on Friday. So always keeping me on my toes. My body's always keeping me on my toes.
I know. So trust me, I understand. Yeah, it's like yesterday was my weekly medicine day with my methotrexate for my RA, and that always makes me. It's like that feeling where you feel like all the nutrients have been sucked out of your body.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the way it makes you feel for a good. At least that's the way it makes me feel for a day. But at least it doesn't make me super nauseous. Some people make them super nauseous, and for me, it just like makes me not want to eat. But I'm not really nauseous. I'm just kind of like, nah, food.
Yeah.
All right, I guess I'll eat it. Great way to lose weight, though.
Yeah, sounds like I don't know if it's a great way. It's a way to.
Yeah, there you go. It's one of the many ways.
Yeah. But not advised.
Yes. So we did. I know you were all excited to watch the Meghan Markle and Prince Harry interview with Oprah.
Yeah.
So we were going to talk about that. I did watch it. I am not a huge royals person, but I do have to say it was a very interesting and well, I love Oprah, so it was a very interesting interview. So yeah. So you want to talk about it?
Sure. It was, and I'm not a huge Royals fan. I'm just in the sense of like, what must it be like, and what does that life look like, and like, how is this still a thing, kind of thing. Like I am way more interested in like the old time royals. Like if you've seen the show Reign, like I'm all about that. Like,
oh yeah, that's a great show. I like that show. Reign. Yep, highly recommended.
REIGN. By the
yes,
way.
not like the stuff that falls from the sky.
Yeah. So that's what I'm more interested in, like modern day, like whatever they're like and Meghan Markle actually touched on this because she's like, I just assumed it was like any celebrity, right?
Yeah, she said, I've been an actress, I've been on TV, I've been around celebrities, and I thought, oh, okay, well, this is just a bunch of famous people.
Yeah, and
no.
I feel like they did a very good job of expressing what they went through and kind of setting the record straight rather than, and I don't think they were there to like dog anybody and be like, oh, this person's crap and blah blah blah. Like I think they were real, like the way it was delivered, and I think that has a lot to do is the delivery. They weren't like, oh my god, she wasn't like, well, they were horrible. She was just like, yeah, I mean, like it sucked. And I can't like, so essentially if you didn't watch it, I would suggest watching it because I just thought it was really interesting. And that Prince Harry was there, which is he a prince anymore? I didn't understand that. I thought he was.
Yeah, because supposedly they were talking about since they stepped away from the family, I don't know if he's considered prince or not. I'm not sure.
Because I thought all titles were being taken away, but maybe it's not an honorary title. I don't know. But essentially, so they so Meghan was just not treated fairly in the media, and the monarchy didn't do anything to discourage that.
Right. And it was very interesting because she talked about there's the family and there's the firm and there's the institution.
Yeah, which I was like, wait, which one are we talking about? Is this the same thing? What are we doing?
I'm not sure what the firm was exactly.
Yeah, who are those people?
I'm not sure. But the institution, I know she said, is several people who I guess manage the PR and the family and all of that. So that was very interesting.
Yeah.
The institution.
Yeah, it was very interesting. But essentially, like, so in the media, a lot of what was brought into it was race. And people almost felt like they were allowed to treat her a different way because of race, which is so gross. And but the institution didn't defend her and she thought the whole time, she's like, I thought I was being taken care of because that's what they were telling me. They were telling me, don't worry, we're gonna take care of you. And her friends were saying, hey, they're not taking care of you. And like, what I thought, something I thought that was interesting too, was that she's like, when you enter that life, you hand over your passport and your driver's license. I was like, the what?
Yeah, she said you can't just leave the palace. Like you can't just hop in an Uber and be like, all right, I'm going to lunch with my buds. Yeah, there was one point where she said that she'd only left the palace like twice in 4 months.
Yeah.
And she wanted to go meet her friends for lunch. And they said, no, you can't go. You're all over the place. And she's like, what do you mean I'm all over the place? I haven't left this place in twice in 4 months. But she was all over the media because they kept talking about her and how all the things that she had supposedly done or didn't do.
Yeah.
And they were all like mean and scandalous, So that was very strange to me. There's no way there. Could you imagine being like, that's that whole like being stuck in an ivory tower,
But also like, I think that she's very brave for standing up. And I think that the fact that like just knowing what we knew before she, it was released that she was dating Prince Harry, I feel like the institution would have done a little bit more research and gone, maybe she's not going to fit in, because she was very outspoken and very she had a very powerful voice on lots of different and important topics. And so it's like, I don't know why they would have thought like she would have fallen in line to comply.
Well, she did initially, though. That was what I felt like she said, is that initially she trusted them. They said, we'll take care of you. Don't, just ignore the media. Don't pay any attention to any of it. And she said that her original plan was, okay, I'm going to fall in line. I'm going to do my job. That's what she said. She's like, it's our job to go on these tours of the Commonwealth or whatever and show up at these different events. And she said, I was all set to do my job, and I gave up my acting career. I, gave up part of my family because I loved Harry so much, and I was willing to do all of that, is my impression from what she said.
Yeah,
and it wasn't until
I'm saying that that they would be able to treat her and allow these things without that. That's what I'm saying. And then thinking that she would be like, oh, okay, yeah, cool.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Well,
Like she's not going to fight back.
another part of it too, I think, was with Harry as well. And what eventually came out was part of the reason they stepped away was because they weren't going to be offered security anymore.
Yeah.
And which was a big thing. I mean, they need, not even for Harry at one point, they said, well, no, Harry's not going to have any security either.
Mhm.
But initially it was no security for the baby, for Archie. And her. And only security for Harry. And at first they were scared about that, but they thought, well, I guess they assumed, well, maybe that'll still kind of help us. And then when it was no security for Harry either, that's when they finally said, all right, well then peace out. But Harry said,
and because like a Canadian newspaper or tabloid or something told like specifically where they were.
Yeah, and where they were living at the time.
Was happening, and
yeah.
Like,
that's when they ran to LA and Tyler Perry offered up his house and his security for them.
Yeah.
In LA. Yeah, seriously. And well, but the thing that Harry was saying, and that's what I think was the clincher from what I got out of it, was he was watching history repeat itself, like what happened with his mother, with Diana, and after she was divorced from Charles and basically had no security. And then look what happened. She ended up getting basically run over by the paparazzi, so he was like, I'm not going to let this happen again. So I think he stepped in. It wasn't just her. I think that he had her back too,
Sure. Definitely. I don't think that I don't think she dragged him along. And people are so vindictive. Like I had a friend that, and I can only assume, so it may not have happened, but she posted on Facebook, like the Meghan Markle interview, and it was like ME, like in caps. And I was like, seriously? Like, I think that she's just being so portrayed so poorly.
Yes.
And
I agree.
That she has done nothing to have that mean, vindictive things being done to her.
Yes, I agree too. And I just, well, one of the things too I really wanted to touch on that kind of wraps itself, or our podcast wraps itself up with as well, is the fact that she admitted, and I'm sure a lot of people have seen it in the headlines by now, that she was suicidal at one point.
And she was pregnant.
And and she kept saying, it is so hard to ask for help. Mm-hmm. And she did ask for help, and the institution, basically they wouldn't let her go seek. She wanted to go seek psychiatric, like admit herself somewhere. Mm-hmm. And they wouldn't let her do it because it wouldn't look good. Mm-hmm. And that's where it came in about how she didn't have a passport. She couldn't just hop in a car and go. But saying it's so hard to ask for help, I just so identified with that. And I think that moms and just women in general, mm-hmm. I think for a lot of us, it's so hard to ask for help, especially if it's where mental health is involved,
mm-hmm. And I think the response was from senior leadership in the institution or family.
Right, in the institution, yes.
Like, suck it up, buttercup.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's I can't even fathom what that would have felt like.
Mm-hmm.
If, my husband or family would have said that to me. I would have been like, what?
But see, they said, the other thing, that the impression that I got was they went to the institution and they went to human resources, which I guess there is such a thing.
Like,
and they said, well, you're not technically an employee.
Yeah.
And so we can't help you. Sorry, we feel for you. But they also didn't talk to the family about it. Didn't Harry say they didn't talk to the actual family? They only talked to the institution and to HR. They didn't talk to the family.
Do you think the family didn't know, though? I feel like the institution is also the family's part of the institution.
I don't know. That was the thing that was a little bit confusing to me, how it's all intertwined. But the fact that she knew she was in trouble, mm-hmm. and she built up the strength and the courage to say, I need help. I need help. And then to be denied. I mean, that just hurts my heart. So I can't imagine. And then finally for Harry, I mean, that it sounds to me was one of the main clinchers for why they left, why they stepped away. Um, but like again, just the strength that she must have had, and I guess too, being pregnant. I mean, imagine if she'd killed herself while she was pregnant. How awful that would
Oh
have
my
been.
gosh. No. And I'm sure like hormones did not help in that situation.
Well,
I mean, I'm sure
no.
she was feeling it before, but
Yeah.
hormones probably had some to do with it. And just
Well,
talk about being in a vulnerable state as well.
yes. Well, I think, and I remember when I was pregnant, I always felt like I was kind of an open wound, you know? And there were some kind of cool parts of it. Like, at least for me, my sense of smell was so strong. Like I could literally drive down the street and smell all the different restaurants I would pass by. And there was something kind of cool about that. Like I felt like I had spidey sense, but that I think that also pertains to your emotions. And that was how I felt. So I can't imagine having that being sensitive, because I don't want that to be portrayed as that you're weak. Doesn't mean that you're weak. That's why I like spidey sense as the, analogy, because it doesn't necessarily mean that you're weak,
Well, I think that anybody, no matter how strong you are, can be torn down if given the right circumstances and the right motive. I think 100. I think anybody, even the strongest of strongest people, can be torn down bit by bit, and they may not show it like she didn't show it until now, but I don't think that's a weakness at all. I think it's manipulative of whoever is tearing you down.
Right. Exactly. And so that really struck me, kind of like you could even be a princess and live in this beautiful palace and feel like you want to die. And that was however anybody wants to take it, if they still think that she's, like you said, with the friend with the ME, fine. But I think that looks can be deceiving. And again, too, even in our little world, when you go on Instagram or Facebook and you see this friend that's like, oh, my life is beautiful. Look at my beautiful kids. La, la, la. And they never have, spit up on their shirts or never poop their pants because look how perfect they always look. And they wear shoes all the time. My kid never wore shoes when he was a baby because they were too much of a pain in the ass to put on. So, but, I think we can all think there's always that friend or somebody in your life that you're like, oh, she's so annoying. And you get a little bit envious, even though deep down cognitively, I'm sure this is bullshit. I'm sure that she has her bad days and she's just putting all the fun, pretty stuff on Facebook or Instagram. But it's hard not to feel a little bit like, God, I'm a hot mess. I haven't even showered yet today,
I think I'm hitting a point in my life where I'm just like, I just really don't care. I mean, I love seeing what other people have, and I always comment on people's stuff. I'm like, I'm so jealous or jelly or whatever, and and people always say jealous. To be jealous is bad. I don't agree with that, because if you're jealous, being like, gosh, I want that too, but I don't want you not to have that. I think that's totally
right.
fair. And I think it just gives you goals to reach. Now, if you're saying like, why does she get it and I don't? Like, nah, like, that's
a problem.
That's a bad thing. But I think you can absolutely be jealous of people, but
and still celebrate them. Yeah, and celebrate what they have.
Make sure that you are, and this, not to go back to Shalene, but she's basically like, I don't know. I think that her life is something that I aim for, in the sense of like, she has freedom to do what she wants because she's built this like empire essentially. And she's very level-headed. I mean, just like, she's just this person. I'm just like, how can I be more like you? Because she's just so amazing. But she's like, don't follow people that don't increase your value. If you're going on to Instagram or Facebook or anything like that, and then you feel like shit after you look at these people, then don't look at them. Find something else that's going to inspire you.
Right. No, I've always felt like rather than, and this even goes back to when I was like in high school, if there was someone that I would maybe initially, especially when you're younger, you'd be a little
Mhm.
jealous of, or you think,
Mhm.
oh, so and so, they have everything, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'd find a way to get to know them and think, okay, well, here are the things that this person has or has achieved,
Mhm.
and I'd like to achieve those things. So I would try and befriend them and be like, hey, how'd you do this? I want to learn how to do that, and not
Yeah,
be like up their ass or annoying about it, but you surround yourself with people that you admire, I think it uplifts you.
totally.
Yeah. So
Totally.
that's kind of what I've always tried to live by
And you
anyway.
also have to pay it forward too, because there's somebody out there that also admires you. And
Yeah.
so if somebody reaches out to you and says, "Hey, will you help me with this?" or "I have some questions," like be willing to answer those questions and be willing
Oh,
to
for
be
sure.
their mentor as well, because at some point, and maybe you did it your own, good for you if you did. Like I'm not
Yeah.
going to take that away from you,
You
but
go with
I
your
know
bad
that
self.
I certainly wouldn't. I reach out to everybody. Like I'm trying to, branch off into doing professional organization. And I've reached out to a bunch of people and like, hey, can I pick your brain? And,
Yeah.
I set up meetings with this one girl, which I missed last night because I wasn't feeling well, but I was felt so awful. I got this morning. I was like, oh my God, I missed my meeting. Ah, I'm terrible. Because I don't like to miss meetings, but um, I just wish I would have remembered beforehand that I had the meeting versus just not showing up. But she's getting started. I'm like, yeah, let's have an accountability. Like, how can I help you? How can you help me? Like, let's
hmm
figure this out. We're not, we're doing the same thing, but like, how can we make each other successful?
Exactly. Absolutely.
So yeah. And one last part about the interview is that I thought was so disgusting was someone in the institution or family or something said, like, questioned how dark Archie's skin was going to be.
Oh, yes. I got the impression it was a family member.
I definitely did too. But
Yeah.
I did read later that Harry wanted Oprah to make it clear that it was not the Queen or Prince Philip.
Ah, okay.
So
See,
he
I
narrowed
wonder
that
if it
down a
was
little bit.
William. Maybe it was
I
William.
think it's his dad.
You think, Charles?
I just don't think that he's a super nurturing person. And I just think that's
No.
something that would have come out of his mouth. What didn't, I
Yeah.
don't know, but like I feel like because I feel like I feel like William's a little bit more sensitive than that, and he has his own kids that are young, and like, well,
hmm
I think he's compassionate to that, but I just don't think that based on history and media, that his dad is super,
Well, he certainly doesn't come across as warm and
no,
fuzzy.
no.
So,
But I
and
think that, and I think based on what he said, like he didn't talk to his dad for a little bit. I feel like that might have happened.
hmm
But again, I
maybe
could be totally wrong. It could be, you know, a
that would make
dysfunction.
sense, though. Yeah. It's pretty horrific, though. Like to me, I look at them, I'm like, oh my God, they're going to make the most beautiful babies, like the red hair and her with her skin tone.
Yeah.
Like such exotic, cool looking kids. And instead of being like,
But what does it
oh,
matter? Like, what is it? I mean,
yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
even think
know.
it matters. Like, what is it? It's a baby. It's a human. It's somebody
Yeah.
that's going to hopefully contribute to the betterment of our society as a whole and
hmm
the world. Like, what does
hmm
it matter what this child looks like?
Yeah.
What if he only has one arm? Is he going to be less important?
Right.
You know?
I agree. No, I think that's totally. But it says a lot about whoever said it and the
Mhm.
mindset.
Yeah.
I don't. It's hard for me to wrap my brain around like thinking like that. It's very. I don't. You
Yeah.
know. So, but that was pretty awful to hear. Like Oprah's face when she said that. Oprah was like, "What?
But
What?"
okay, but also let's talk about how fantastic Oprah's hair looked. I was just like, I was
Oh
mystified by it the entire time. I was like,
yeah.
this is the most beautiful hair I've ever seen in my
I
entire life. How did she do
know.
this? Like,
I know.
I need to
That's
know the
funny because I
secrets.
was staring at it too. That's funny. Like I don't know. It must be a weave of some sort. I don't know. Well, of course, she has the cash to
Why?
have anything done to it. Was gorgeous.
I don't know.
hmm
I was just like, gee, I need to give me all the secrets.
I
Like,
know. That's like the kind of hair that I've always wanted. But,
and
the
it was
curly fun.
and
Yeah.
perfect.
Yes, it was
Like,
perfect.
the most beautiful hair I've ever seen in my entire
Oh,
life.
I know. Yeah. Well, of course, Oprah looks amazing.
I mean, of
Period.
course, yeah,
You know.
but still, I love that they
That's
have
funny you said
kids.
that though. I
love
forgot that I was staring at her hair the whole time. I really was.
Yeah, I feel like it might have upstaged parts of the interview.
Yeah.
I was so enamored by it. I was like, oh my God, this hair. What did you do?
Yeah. It was so cool. Yes,
Yeah.
very pretty.
All right. If you have any feedback on the Meghan and Harry interview or just lifting women up, because this is Women's Month and yesterday was International Women's Day.
I know. That's what Jerry, my husband, said. He's like, Happy Women's Day. I was like, yippee.
It's great to be a woman.
Yeah, right.
Also, we have our 100th episode coming up soon in like the next couple episodes. And we would like to celebrate. So give us some ideas on like what you want us to celebrate. How you want
Heather,
us to celebrate. Yeah.
This is the 100th episode, I believe.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Look at me. Woo woo. Nothing to talk about women. Woo woo.
Right. It's
And
the 100th episode.
And
Counting not a forte. It's okay.
Let's celebrate then. Let's celebrate. Go tell us what your favorite episode was. And
Yeah.
if there are any other episodes that you want us to cover for you, because we're happy to dig into any topic from a realistic mom perspective.
Yes, absolutely.
Taking away all the filters and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, until next time, reach out to us on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. Yes, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, I Came Mom Today podcast. Join our Facebook group.
gmail.com. We're just talking all over each other today.
I know. We're a hot mess.
Girl. I know.
We need help. It's all good.
Next time.
Bye.